Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another Supatease video. And Blizzard has now officially unveiled and lifted the curtain on patch 12.1 for Midnight, which is the Curse of Ula'tek and its content update, which includes various activities. So we're going to be taking a look at what exactly is going on and how excited are we exactly for what is happening. So the content outline here is that there's going to be the campaign continuing, obviously, a new outdoor zone called the Coiled Isle, which I think a lot of people were anticipating is the island off the coast of Zalaman, that giant pillar of rock. So it might be a troll patch, is what it's looking like. There are going to be new activities, such as the Vault of Ula'tek, public events, cursed surges, and cursed fishing. So if you're a casual player and you like the world event stuff, a lot of new stuff for you. I don't know what this means, if this is like high intensity fishing or what's going on there. There is a new 8-boss raid called the Venomous Abyss. Interesting. So it doesn't really sound too troll-like. New 3-boss dungeon, the Altar of Fangs. That does sound trollish. New layers. So layers is the big new feature, I think. Is this like the labyrinths? Didn't they call them labyrinths? I don't know. Layer does not sound like labyrinth to me. Normal, heroic, and mythic world boss encounters. So world bosses are getting more mythic phase. So they really experimented that with Rotmire in the most recent patch. So now they're going to be trying to emphasize on world boss dropping mythic loot as well. 3 new delves, including a new Nemesis delve, which means that leveling also will be even faster, assuming you can do these delves while leveling, which maybe you won't, but maybe you will. We don't know. Season 2 is obviously going to start 1 week after the launch, which will include new dungeon updates. A new players versus bots arena. I was really hoping that we're actually going to implement this. I think that arena almost needed it more than Battlegrounds. I'm actually impressed to see it so soon. Because I think arena, especially if they add tutorial tips like, hey, you're fighting a mage. They have abilities like polymorph, and it looks like this. Try to press your interrupt on polymorph. You know, like a dungeon journal, except for PvP. That would be sick, bro. A dungeon journal with all the classes, and you had like a mage page, and it showed like polymorph, what the icon looks like, Ray of Frost, what the icon looks like, and be like, these are high priority spells. You want to be aware of these and disrupt them or use defensives, like an in-game dungeon journal for classes, right? Like a boss. It'd be like a boss video, right? Or a boss thing in the dungeon journal. What are the mechanics of a mage? These are the main things. That would be really sick. I don't think that's what's going to happen. It's just going to be play against bot mode. I've noticed though that you can farm the achievements from Battlegrounds against the bots. Will you be able to farm the arena achievements? Probably not, because I don't think it'll be rated, and I think most of the achievements for arena are in rated. There's going to be new dungeons, and there's going to be new prey as well for season 2. There's going to be new Arcantina quests. There are going to be user interface updates for the cooldown manager and ping system. I think it's really good. I think the ping system, first iteration, you know, it's serviceable, but there's a lot more things like use a defensive ping or something like that. I think that could be used. So I'm very curious to see what that is. Obviously, the cooldown manager UI, it's been a work in progress. So hopefully this is going to be rounding up the issues with it. I still have issues with the damage meter personally. So seems like they're moving on from that though, at least based on this update. For housing updates, you're going to be able to save, export, and import your blueprints. Right? So does that mean you can steal someone's house? Or does that mean it'll like show you what it is or something? I don't really know. And then welcome pets. You're going to have pets in your house. There's going to be 4 new endeavors, and there's going to be class updates. I wonder which ones, because I feel like a lot of people in PvE, especially, and even PvP, you know, like some classes could use updates. But so we got the Coiled Island, and it is the island off the coast here. So the story of Zul'Jan is going to continue. I really actually would like a troll patch. I feel like the troll dungeons, the troll raids have like really cool history. It does look like a lot of troll aesthetic on this island. It's very similar to the island in the Dragon Isles, except now it's trolls instead of dragons. Enter the mountain for new adventures. So you undertake different activities into the vaults of Ula'tek. It's very similar to the vaults on the Dragonflight Island. I mean, it seems like we're following that template line. This is different, though. There's going to be a talent tree for the zone, it looks like. So you get a custom talent tree with different perks and quality of life perks. Ooh, so they're going to make it... Ooh, I don't know if the people are going to like this. They're going to make it hard to quest on the island, and then this talent tree will make it easier to quest on the island. I don't know if people will end up liking that or not. I think it's interesting, but a lot of people are just like, give me the dopamine, you know what I mean? So, but maybe this is their way of time gating it too. Maybe the island is just going to be very challenging if you don't have the talent tree fully unlocked, and it allows them to expand the island with time. That's probably more so the intent. Encounter curse surges and face rare elites. So you'll come across curse surges, which will regularly spawn rare elites at 5 rotating locations. So just more rare spawn stuff. Killing a rare elite unlocks cursed fishing in that location. So you'll be able to discover a local story with a Tortolan sea captain named Toka, gain reputation with his crew, and learn to fish in more cursed waters. But does that mean we're going to be fishing up like really big fish bosses or something? Like what is cursed fishing? Step into layers and face the world bosses inside. So this is similar to Legion, where you'd go into like the portals. Looks like a Naga boss for this one. Introducing layers and evolution on world boss located in instanced encounters. Well, it's not a world boss if it's an instance, right? Flexible difficulty. So this is Rotmire. They're doing more Rotmire content. I think that content's good. I think like the emphasis on like super top end sweaty mechanic force rating is like good for people who like it, but having something like this is nice too. So you'll be able to queue for it. It looks like almost like a raid delve window. The goal is to make it easier for players to gather and take on these bosses by encountering them at specific locations where you can choose your difficulty and use summoning stones to bring others to you. Face 3 new bosses in the new dungeon for the Altar of Fangs. So you got like a Mohawk Hydra. This is reminding me of the Hydra meme where the one guy looks kind of derpy, and maybe it's this guy who doesn't have any mane on his back of his head. It's a new 3-boss dungeon, available up to heroic difficulty at launch, and it'll join the Mythic Plus rotation after Season 2 releases. And then the Abyss Raid. This guy looks sick. 5-headed Hydra. It reminds me of Hakar, just 5 heads with 5-head Hakar. Arriving with the start of Midnight Season 2, players will face Ula'tek herself in the Venomous Abyss, an ancient powerful creature of hatred, corruption, and venom. Ula'tek has been unleashed by Zul'jin's actions. This new raid dungeon will feature 8 new bosses, encounters, and you'll ultimately face off against Ula'tek as the final boss. So I'm guessing this is Ula'tek. It's like Hakar. Venture into the new delves, including a new Nemesis delve, so the Ring of Glory, Gnarldor Isle, as well as Venomfall Deeps in the Nemesis delve. In the Curse of Ula'tek content update, players will be able to take on 3 new delves, with one of these delves as a new Nemesis delve. So the same seasonal release here for delves. You'll step into the Ring of Glory, all the new ones, with Bountiful delves available later, with Tier 7 later. You'll also begin encountering new Snake and Venom variants in all of the other delves. So they added new trash mobs to the existing delves. Get ready for Midnight Season 2. After 1 week, it goes live. So you'll be able to get so the new dungeons are Altar of Fang, Murder Road, Den of Narlac, Blinding Veil, Voidscar Arena, as well as King's Rest. Now, this has been a hot topic because there was a sword from here for Warriors in BFA that was best in slot in PvP, Getty EQ. And if the item level is the same as PvP gear, you might need to get it. Now, hopefully the bonus roll, tech for PvE will still be there, so you're at least eventually going to be guaranteed to get it if you do ultimately need to get it. But that is something to note because that sword was really strong. And if it is tuned even remotely the same as it was in BFA, probably a best in slot in PvP. The Ruby Life Pools from Dragonflight and Temple of Sethralis from BFA are also going to be making their return. So actually, a lot more new dungeons for this patch as opposed to being half and half. You're actually getting new ones. The new Prey system, which is stock. Season 2 brings in new affixes, new targets, and some new hunts on the Coiled Isle in Prey. So just what you would expect with this. And then gear up for PvP Season 2. So Training Grounds have introduced more players to the PvP ecosystem. And after the introduction to Battlegrounds versus bots, we are introducing Arena versus bots to players who want to dip their toes into the arena and start learning the ropes. I think this is really good. Like I said, if they made a dungeon journal for classes that just showed like 3 of the major abilities of each class, like an offensive button, a defensive, and maybe a crowd control that they have, what the icon looks like, and say this is an important spell, you want to interrupt this, use a defensive on it, it would go a long way for people who don't know what's going on in PvP, because it's the same thing with the dungeon, right? Open the dungeon journal, you can see the boss mechanics, like he's going to do that and this. I think that would be very nice. I think this is really good, because the onboarding for Arena is very tough. It's very harsh if you've never done Arena before. I think this is really good. I think it's a bigger necessity for Arena than it was for Battlegrounds, although it's good to have it for both. I think this is good. The cooldown manager UI interface update. So the cooldown manager is getting some additional updates, and we will be able to track trinkets and potions, helping with consumable management. For managing other resources, we're making more updates to the ping system. Players will be able to ping their action bar or the cooldown manager itself, providing your team with the status of your spells. So like it'll tell that you have link soon, or that you're going to tell it you're going to link. So this seems mostly around PvE. Like maybe the cooldown thing could be. I'd have to see what it looks like. You can also ping your own unit frames to convey things like your health to the group. Oh, people are going to spam ping on low health. 100%. People are going to spam ping. I don't know if that's an issue people have, is knowing what their health is. New configuration. Maybe it will be, actually, if you're a healer and you can ping someone else's health. Like, hey, you're low health. New configurations for healers on raid frames are also coming, allowing you to configure which kinds of healing buffs and what priorities there are for what you want. This is really good. Do it for debuffs too. Oh my god, please do it for what I can remove from debuffs. The debuffs are occupying so much space in PvP at the moment, and in PvE it's not a problem because the monster only puts 1 debuff on you. But in PvP, the DK puts 7 debuffs and the Rogue puts 10 debuffs on you. It's too many icons that are completely irrelevant to what's going on in the game. I really want some filtering for debuffs. This is nice for buffs, but I really want filtering for debuffs too. This kind of seems like, hopefully the UI is going to be a very good product by the end of midnight type of deal is what it feels like on this type of cadence. I think it's good they're updating this. Housing updates, make the most of housing with new blueprints. So what does this mean with blueprints? You can export the entirety of your exterior or interior or a single room. So you will be able to copy people's houses. Other players will be able to import your exports to use in their own homes. If they want to try something new, you'll also be able to save what you currently have in place and then play around with it. If you want to start with a clean slate completely, you'll also be able to renew reset option to send everything back. That's good for people like houses. You get the pets, little pictures of the pets, and then new endeavors in the housing. And there's an Amani troll endeavor, and a kobold endeavor, and an Onarin endeavor. So continue the hunt for Xal'atath with Eritor. We'll also get an update on Eritor as he deals with the fallout from the Void Spire, and we'll also investigate the resurgence of the Twilight's Blade with him as we continue to hunt for Xal'atath. Check out the PTR for all of the new content. We don't see any new PvP talents. The 12.1, like the 0.1 patches are normally new PvP talents. We don't see anything for that. We see class changes at the very top, like we talked about earlier on. So I don't know if that's going to be included in that. I don't know if that should be taken as a bad sign or not. If it isn't, if there are actually no like PvP talent changes whatsoever, like this is the only thing. But that means there will be hopefully some class changes of significance coming up in the near future. So if you want to make sure you stay up to date and you want to stay ahead of the competition, smash that subscribe button. Your support is greatly appreciated as always. So thank you guys very much for tuning into the video, and I will see you in the next one.